Residents and officials in the Mexican state of Baja California Sur are grappling with the widespread flooding and infrastructural damage left behind by Tropical Storm Mario. The storm, which repeatedly reformed and lingered off Mexico's Pacific coast from September 12th to 16th, brought torrential downpours that saturated the parched landscape, leading to flash floods that submerged streets, homes, and critical roadways. While Mario never made a direct landfall as a hurricane in the region, its prolonged presence and relentless rain bands proved devastating, particularly for communities in the municipalities of La Paz and Mulege. The slow-moving nature of the tropical storm was a key factor in its destructive impact. Mario first emerged on September 12th, but temporarily weakened before regenerating on September 14th. During this period, it hovered just south of the Baja California Peninsula, continuously pumping moist, tropical air over the region. This led to a continuous deluge, which the arid desert terrain of Baja California was unprepared to absorb. Rivers and streams, which are normally dry arroyos, swelled into raging torrents, carrying sand, mud, and debris across communities. In the state capital of La Paz, the normally bustling malecón and residential areas near the waterfront experienced significant flooding. Police were deployed to seal off inundated roads and beaches, cautioning residents against venturing into the treacherous waters. The free distribution of sandbags from municipal authorities was quickly overwhelmed by demand, highlighting the unpreparedness of many citizens for a storm of this intensity. Videos circulating on social media showed cars struggling to navigate submerged streets and water entering ground-floor businesses and residences. The northern municipality of Mulege also reported extensive damage from the flash flooding. In low-lying areas, communities were particularly vulnerable, with residents recounting stories of water rapidly rising and forcing them to evacuate. Many are now facing the daunting task of cleaning up mud and debris that was left behind as the floodwaters receded. The flooding has also caused significant transportation disruptions. Sections of key highways were rendered impassable, severing connections between communities and hindering access for emergency services and aid distribution. Authorities are working to assess the full extent of the damage to the road network, with repairs expected to be costly and time-consuming. The logistical challenges are especially acute for more remote communities that depend on these routes for supplies and medical access. Beyond the immediate human impact, the storm also had an effect on the region's environment. An especially poignant example was captured on social media, where a sea turtle attempting to nest on a beach was thwarted by the vast amount of sand and debris washed ashore by the storm. This incident underscores the broader ecological consequences of such weather events, with coastal habitats, marine wildlife, and delicate ecosystems all bearing the brunt of the storm's fury. For the tourism-dependent economy of Baja California Sur, the timing of the storm was a serious blow. While much of the main tourist season was not directly impacted, the disruptions and images of flooding are a concern for the region's image. Many visitors, particularly those with plans for outdoor activities or excursions, saw their plans upended. Hotel and tour operators are now working to reassure future visitors while assisting those who were affected by the recent weather. In the wake of the storm, residents have been quick to mobilize, with community-led cleanup efforts underway in many areas. However, the long-term recovery will require a more concerted effort from both local and state authorities. Infrastructure repair, particularly of the battered roads, is a top priority. Additionally, a full assessment of the financial and human toll is still ongoing. Looking ahead, while Tropical Storm Mario is now dissipating far offshore, meteorologists warn that its moisture is being pulled north towards the southwestern United States. This is expected to trigger flash flood warnings in Southern California and Arizona, serving as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of weather systems and the far-reaching consequences of tropical disturbances. For the people of Baja California Sur, the focus remains on recovery and rebuilding as they come to terms with the damage left in Mario's wake. Mexican authorities have declared a state of emergency for several municipalities in the state of Sinaloa after torrential rains from Tropical Storm Mario caused widespread and destructive flooding over the weekend. Following a path that brought it dangerously close to the coastline, Mario, once dismissed as a mini-storm, defied earlier predictions and intensified just before its closest approach, unleashing a deluge that has overwhelmed rivers, triggered flash floods, and left thousands displaced. The calamity has prompted a large-scale emergency response, with civil protection forces and the military working around the clock to rescue stranded residents and provide aid to the hardest-hit communities. The flooding has been particularly severe in the capital city of Culiacan, where rising waters from the Culiacan River have inundated low-lying neighborhoods, turning streets into raging torrents. Local authorities report that over 5,000 people have been evacuated from their homes and moved to temporary shelters. Footage broadcast on local news channels shows a chaotic scene of submerged vehicles, homes with water reaching second-story windows, and rescue boats navigating formerly busy thoroughfares. The sheer volume of water has stretched rescue services to their limits, with reports of residents trapped on rooftops and in precarious situations awaiting help. While Tropical Storm Mario initially developed as a small, westward-moving system on September 12th, forecasters from the U.S. National Hurricane Center and Mexico's National Meteorological Service had anticipated it would remain a moderate threat, largely staying offshore. The storm's path, however, shifted unexpectedly over the weekend, bringing it closer to the coast of Sinaloa and allowing it to draw more moisture from the warm Pacific waters. This interaction, combined with a persistent high-pressure system, stalled the storm's movement and maximized its rainfall potential over the region. The volume and intensity of the rainfall we saw over the last 72 hours were far beyond what was initially projected, said a meteorologist with Mexico's National Meteorological Service. The storm's close proximity to the coast, coupled with the existing monsoon moisture, created a perfect storm for this level of flooding. The ground was already saturated from previous weather systems, including remnants of Hurricane Lorena earlier this month, which meant there was no place for the additional water to go. The result was a cascade of water-related disasters. In rural areas surrounding Culiacan and other affected municipalities, rivers and arroyos burst their banks, destroying roads and bridges and isolating many small communities. Farmers, many of whom are still recovering from the recent passage of other storms, have seen their fields and crops completely submerged, representing a significant blow to the local economy. The full extent of the agricultural damage is still being assessed, but officials fear it could run into the tens of millions of pesos. The government's response has been swift but faces enormous challenges. Civil protection teams, alongside the Mexican army, have been deployed to assist with rescue operations and damage assessment. Helicopters have been used to airlift people from rooftops and inaccessible areas, while mobile water treatment units and temporary medical stations have been set up in shelters. The scale of the disaster, however, requires a sustained and robust effort. Our priority right now is saving lives and ensuring the well-being of those who have been displaced, stated Sinaloa Governor Ruben Rochamoya during a press conference. We have opened numerous temporary shelters and are working with federal agencies to secure supplies of food, water, and medicine. We ask for calm and cooperation from our citizens as we navigate this crisis. The disaster has also prompted an outpouring of support from civil society and aid organizations. Volunteers are coordinating efforts to collect and distribute emergency supplies, and local businesses are donating resources to the relief effort. Yet, the long road to recovery is just beginning. Residents returning to their homes in flood-stricken areas are finding them caked in mud, with personal belongings destroyed. The emotional toll of the floods is palpable, with many families losing everything they own. While the name Mario brings back memories of the devastating 2014 storm that ravaged the Philippines, this latest episode serves as a powerful and painful lesson for Mexico. The recent surge in storm activity in the Pacific, a trend that many experts link to climate change, has made preparing for such events more critical than ever. The unexpected intensification and shift in Tropical Storm Mario's path highlight the need for improved early warning systems and more resilient infrastructure, especially in vulnerable coastal and riverine communities. As the floodwaters begin to recede in the coming days, the focus will shift from emergency rescue to long-term recovery and reconstruction. The damage to homes, public infrastructure, and the agricultural sector will require significant investment and a coordinated plan. While the sun may return to Sinaloa, the scars of Tropical Storm Mario's unpredicted fury will remain, a grim reminder of nature's power and the vulnerability of communities to its unpredictable forces. The hope now is that the lessons learned from this disaster will lead to better preparedness and a stronger, more resilient future for the people of Sinaloa.